Hi folks, Peter Lawn here. Welcome to my advanced modding video series for the game Icarus. Today we're going to have a look at the Unreal Editor. In my case, I'm running version 4.27.2 and show you how to deal with what I call callback routines in a widget. To show this graphically, I have a deployable blueprint called BP Pete's Toggleable Base, and it has a custom event in it called Show Hold Menu that is responsible for creating and displaying a custom menu called Pete's Menu. The menu in turn has a button called Get Prospect Name, and I want this to run a custom function in the blueprint called Get Prospect Name. Normally, without setting this up, the widget calls will not work, and you'll be scratching your head like I was because there's no warning or indication that the call failed. It simply does nothing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a variable in the widget. We'll open up the event graph and we'll go to variables here and click plus variable, and we're going to call it BP Pete's Toggleable Base, and we'll click this to make it public, and we're going to change the variable type in the details section here to BP Pete's toggle base right there. All right, and what we're going to do in the UMG here is we are going to add a custom event. And we're going to call it init vars for initialize variables. And we're also going to create a input to this routine by clicking on new parameter over here under the input section. And we're going to call it the BP. And we're going to give it also a name of BP Pete's Toggleable Base object reference, and we're going to pass by reference checkbox here. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to drag and drop the variable we just created onto the execution line and set the BP value to set the value of the variable we just created. All right, and what we're going to do, we're going to compile and save, and we're going to go back to the main blueprint there, and we're going to take a look at our show hold menu, and at the very end of our after we've created the UMG, is we're going to drag off this. Well, actually the easiest way to do this is to first make sure that we have a reference to our UMG. So we're going to create another variable here, and we're going to call it UMG space Pete's hold menu. Again, make it public, and we're going to go up to here and we're going to create a variable type of UMG Pete's hold menu. And then what we're going to do is we're going to drag this out onto our event graph of our main blueprint. We're going to get the reference to the widget, and then we're going to pull off of that, and we're going to search for our init vars function that we built in the widget. We're going to connect the execution out, and then what we need to do is we need to pass through to that widget a reference to this blueprint. So how we can do that is we can pull off of this pin and do a search for self. And so we get a reference to self, and so that's going to pass itself a reference to this blueprint here to our widget. Compile and save. And then when we go back to the widget again, we now need to have some way to call that routine that's in the main BP from the button we press. So we'll highlight the button, we'll go into the details section here, and we'll go to the bottom, and we'll create an on-clicked event by clicking this plus button here. And this is the routine that's going to call whenever we press that button. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pull a reference from the main blueprint out. So we'll get the blueprint reference, and we're going to search for get prospect name function in the main blueprint, and we're going to connect our execution pin to it. And then lastly, well, not lastly, but what we need to do is set the actual text value in the menu, which is right up here. I've defined a text value, and it has been set as is variable checkbox here. So that means that when I go and look at it in the event graph, I can actually see it on the left-hand side here under variables. So I'm going to drag this variable out, and I'm going to get the name text. I'm going to also search for set text. It's down at the bottom here. And I'm going to connect the execution pin to that and the returning prospect name from the get prospect name function to the set text value that we want to display. And just move this down here like that, make it a little prettier. All right, so that means that when I press the button, it's going to go out and call this routine and then update our text on our widget of the prospect name. All right, we're going to compile and save. And we're going to go back to the blueprint and see that that's going through. So what should happen is after the menu shows and pops up, it will allow us to go to the menu, click the button, which in turn will call the routine in the main blueprint to display the map name. All right, so let's go into the game and test it out and see if it works. All right, we're back into our level now, and I've got a couple of these units already out here on display. It's a Pete's Interactable Satellite. So again, if I tap it, I get the 1 menu, the E key, and then the B menu. If we hold down, that's the menu we were looking at, and when we get the prospect name, it'll show up there, and I can confirm that's the right one. So if I go here and I hit get prospect name, you can see the prospect name shows up here. So this is working now, and I hope you found this useful, and we'll catch up to you later. Thanks for watching.